I've finally finished some much needed upgrades on the Cherokee, and I'm excited to get back out and spend a few days exploring and camping in the wilderness. There has been a lot of snowfall though, so I'm recceing this service road to see if any of the trails branching off of it have been worked before the last dump of snow. The snowfall on this track is the lowest I can find around here, so I think I'm going to give it a go. This track's about half the height of the other tracks I've found, so they're somewhere up here. So it should be doable on my setup. I'm only on a 35. Yeah, it's not a particularly big tyre for this kind of work. You know, really you want to be on a much bigger flotation tyre at this time of year. So I'm going to go down to about 4 psi, see how it goes. Alright, let's see how it goes. The Jeep's doing a pretty good job of floating on the snow, especially given its weight and tyre size. However, I am taking it pretty slow, mainly because the snow is very granular underneath, meaning it doesn't stick together or form a solid surface when driven over. So if you spin your wheels, you tend to sink and get hung up pretty easily. I'm heading into open ground, and this is actually a pretty risky move in a setup like mine, because of the effect the wind has on the snow. It creates very compacted snowdrifts with a hard top crust, and they can really catch you out. Couple that with the sugar snow underneath, and it makes for challenging conditions. But the forest is just on the other side, so my plan is to drop it into third and hammer it through this section with momentum on my side. The drifts to the right of the Jeep only seem to be getting bigger, and I'm starting to get that feeling that this is going to be a long day, with very little ground covered. snow is so variable. There have been times I've been out and it's been as high as the bumper, just pushing it along all day. And there are times like this where it barely feels that high at all, but it feels as if I'm having to really work very hard, or the Jeep is anyway, to kind of get through it. So I'm completely hung up now. The tyres aren't doing anything. I can put it in gear and the tyres will spin, and the Jeep goes nowhere. So it's all packed up underneath, and I have to kind of try and free it up. I'm going to use some traction boards to get unstuck. These are a new addition to my SAF recovery gear, and they were kindly provided by a company called Sapari. They didn't ask for a video, but I'm not one to accept freebies without saying thank you, as it looks like they'll be very useful for situations just like this. I'm going to chuck this thing right there. I run studded tyres, so you can see they don't really get on well with studded tyres, but you know, they are what they are. But what I'll do is I'll cut these off and drill eventually, and I'll put some M8 nuts, some nylock nuts on there, so they're actually metal, and see how that hangs off going forward when they're worn out. There are many situations where chains have saved the day, but I don't think this is going to be one of them, mainly due to snow conditions, but I'm going to see how it goes anyway. Normally you would see me put tensioners on, but I'm not going to bother with that today. I'm really just curious to see what difference this makes. Now, again, you know, putting chains on very low tyre pressures like this out here in the snow, it's not ideal, but sometimes you just got to try these things out, see what happens. Normally you could just put them on the front like this as a kind of trail breaker and have them a little bit loose, and as they whip round they kind of break the top crust and allow you to go through it a little bit. But you know, we'll see what happens. I'm just going to put them on all 4 tyres and go for it. It's going to be an epic fail, but can't say I didn't try. See how it goes. Probably going to go in second. Awesome. It's time well spent. So although they were rubbish, they got me unstuck very, very easy. Like, there is a lot more traction now, so I'm going to try it. Just going to go super slow. See if I can do this. Despite a bad start, the chains have made a big difference. I'm moving, be it slowly, but I've actually moved quite a distance with them on. And on the plus side, this kind of work puts very little stress on the diesel engine. Well, things weren't going great, but they weren't going really bad. But then I smelt something funny, and I'm not talking about Bigfoot's ass. It smelt like burning rubber, and what it is it's the diesel heater build I did. It's the hose getting pushed up into the crank pulley, and the two things meeting and wearing away. And that's a real problem, because obviously I could lose a belt because it'll overheat, and then I'm in big trouble. Although I do have a spare belt, it's just a pain in the ass. Obviously you can avoid it. But it does mean my heating system from the roof tent is now a bit screwed up, because there's probably a hole in that pipe and I have to get another one. So I think I'm going to give up getting to the trail. Absolutely stuck, and yeah, it's just too much, basically. Dug in, so even going back's pretty challenging through this. I was hoping to get to the end there. I've actually flown the drone over and I can see the end of the track, and I was thinking if I can get there I can actually turn around and then go back nose first when I need to. But it's all just getting a bit much, so I think I might back up. Well, they're a bit stronger than that, but it must have hit something. Might have to wait here till tomorrow when the snow starts to melt and gets to like +1, +2 overnight. maybe it's going to be easier to drive them, because this sugar crap is like very, very difficult. Let's take a little sample of the snow, see what we can see. Oh, look at that. It's part of a U-joint, cleanly broken off, mine. Yes, all the bearings are everywhere. I need to clean that up. I don't like leaving stuff like that here. But it's not the end of the world. Oh look, there's the cap. Yeah, look at that. Juicy. Let's get the grease. Put it in the bin. Although this isn't the first time this has happened to me, this time I'm undecided on what I'm going to do. I have my snowshoes and a sled, so I could hike to the main road and call Megan to bring spares and do a repair in the field. But until I decide what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dig. I might as well improve my situation while I think. There's really not too much I can do in this situation. I checked my spare parts. I've got a couple of U-joints, but not for the front axle, which is a real pain in the ass. I swear I had one, but there might have been a project or something some time back, or I don't know, maybe I gave it to someone. It's usually what happens. But yeah, I don't know. I mean I have to take apart the whole differential really, and just have stub shafts with no diff and just pack tissue into the axle housing, take the front drive shaft out and basically run it like that. So if it comes to that, I'm going to have to do it. I can't really walk home because I'm not anywhere near where I live, so you know that's a long way away. So I'm just going to dig the vehicle out as best I can, so that I've got a bit of a platform to work with. Stop in a while, have a drink, have something to eat, and think about what I'm going to do. I mean, I've got about 3 days worth of food, got all my sleep equipment with me, I've got some wood, pretty much got everything I need just to be here for, well, you know, quite a while. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get out here in two-wheel drive. That's the problem that I'm worried about. I don't know how I'm going to do that. So yeah, I'll just keep digging till I come up with something. God, look at this snowpack. That's why it's so different here to earlier on. The wind. My attempts to position the vehicle at a better angle are failing. It just keeps moving deeper and deeper into the snowdrifts to the side of the track. Normally, when I'm stuck like this, I drive much further forward to get the Jeep back in alignment, and then rebuild the track to reverse it into its previous tracks to get myself out. So, I've called it in, and it looks like I don't have the part I need back home. Ordering a new U-joint will take at least 4 days, given decent quality parts for older Jeeps are like exotic fruit here in Northern Europe. So, as an alternative, a good friend of mine who ploughs nearby has offered to come and dig me out in his tractor. He'll be passing by the trailhead in about 4 hours. So until then, I'm going to make myself at home, repair my heating system and do some damage control to see what I need to order to fix the axle. Oh, that's a bad one. Oh no, that's a new stub shaft, look at it. Total mash up there. That's a shame, isn't it? it went badly. The Jeep I've had in the workshop for the last 3 weeks, I've been building stuff on it, you know, like the ladder, just finished that, came out really nice, the heating system, and I completely neglected the most obvious thing, which is those crappy U-joints from Autodoc. And now I think about it, I'm such a moron for not having spares, and I've got complete shafts at home, stub shafts and axle shafts, you know, real Spicer ones. They're not chromolys, but at least I should have built those up and just had them in the Jeep, because it's so much easier to just pull the whole shaft and you know, and tap on the end of the stub shaft with a hammer, you know, put a nut on, you know, loosen up the bearing, get it all apart. I mean, my Jeep's been apart so many times it literally comes apart like Lego these days, but you know, it's an easy job to do in the field, just to pop another shaft in, and at least I would have had the opportunity to try and get out here myself, and as I said, I would have just kept going forward and then repaired the track to a point where I could then reverse back onto my own tracks and potentially get out of here. Oh yeah, cool. Thanks for the skank stroop, mate. Gotta love a bit of skank stroop. Well, it's pretty comfy inside here. That is pancake mix, by the way. Nothing else. Got some got the heat coming in from the heating system, so very, very cozy inside the vehicle. Here he comes. Bless him. Well, help's arrived. That's a friend of mine, Peter. Does a lot of ploughing, truck driving, lots of other stuff. So what an absolute legend for him to come out here. It's about 8 o'clock, so he's here a bit earlier than I thought he would be, and yeah, he's ploughed this whole road. With the road ploughed, it seems a shame not to continue on and at least spend one night here. It's probably also safer to crawl home in the daylight, given the vehicle's damaged and I can't drive that fast with it like this. I can't thank Peter enough though, what a legend. I can't really return this particular favour, but perhaps I could give Bigfoot his address or something. Anyway, I'll think of something, but it's time to get set up and make some dinner. once I plug this dong in here, I can test out my new setup, although the coupling hasn't actually arrived yet. But I've got this nice flexi pipe stuff here from Amazon, and that will go up to the roof tent and give me some warmth, hopefully. I thought I'd have to go in the tent to do this, but I opened it. So, in theory, just go in there like that. It's the first run of this system. So you can see, I'll just close the valve. So that is basically only letting in the slightest amount now for the vehicle. A very small amount coming through there. And we should be having hot air going up in the tent now. Yeah. I can always pull that out and check, yeah. You can hear it. So I'll close that off. Jesus. Well, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning and it's been a pretty wakeful night. Some serious winds coming in. There were some times where I was genuinely concerned that the tent was going to come apart, and it's getting worse. So I think I'm going to have to pack down now and sort of make my way out of here, basically. Just really because of the risk of the tent, sort of something going wrong. It's pretty full on. So yeah, I'm going to do that now. Well, that's it from me. I've made it back to one of the main roads, and I'm going to trundle down here and join onto the big road and crawl my way home. And then I've got to inspect the damage. Pretty gutted about that chromoly. The eye's got trashed on it, so it's totally ruined. I don't think really it's repairable. They're full clipped, So I've got in my pocket here one of the clips, and you can kind of see the stress on that. The eye has just been forced apart. So it's a pretty brutal break, really. So I don't really think that's repairable. I'm going to have to get new shafts. I'm an idiot, really, for coming down, well, going down that particular track that was open, where the drifts and the snow will be pretty difficult for this. I mean, if you imagine this vehicle as a tool, it's really the wrong tool for the job. You want to be floating on that snow, and you want to have very large flotation tyres, and be going pretty slow, really, to try and stay on top of that kind of snowpack, really, rather than just be ploughing through it like a dumbass like me with chains on. But, you know, desperation, I just thought, you know, I'd give it a try, and I suppose it worked for a while. But the reality is it too much torque, too much stress, and then something's broken, and you know, the weak link being the U-joint. So yeah, I'm going to make my way home, I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and get this thing fixed, and next time I'm out I'll be carrying a few more spares with me. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you again in another one. Take care.